everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. You know the channel, you know my name. And if you're new, hi, glad you're here. We're happy to have you. So, serious video time. I know, very intimidating, I know. I've honestly been meaning to talk about this for a while because, number one, it wasn't until a few months ago that these events popped up into my mind, and as you can tell from the title, yeah, not a very pleasing one. It should also go without saying that there are going to be some sensitive topics that will be discussed, so please be advised before proceeding. So, like all stories go, we're going back in time. Specifically when I was 12 to 13 years old. I remember being a happy kid, playing Mario Kart, being obsessed with animals, drawing animals, and being obsessed with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles TV show. And it wasn't just any, it was the 2012 show, the Nickelodeon version. It was so peak. Around this time, my mom enrolled me in gymnastics, and I was excited. I was a bit nervous to make friends, but I was excited to see what leotards I could wear. And honestly, I remember having a lot of fun at gymnastics. I loved doing the balancing on the beam bars, swinging on those parallel bars, and playing with the ribbons. I met a few people who I was acquainted with and who I would sometimes talk to on a daily basis, but I did make one close friend there, and we are going to call her Grace. Grace was, I think, a year older than me, but we hung out all the time during and after classes. And we were also put together most of the time, so it literally worked out. So, in our classes, we had a few teachers that taught different classes. I think it was separated by age, and for one of those teachers, we are going to call him Jake. Jake, I believe, was in his late 20s or early 30s, and a lot of the students knew him. I remember him seeming to be very cool, very down to earth, and the main thing on everyone's agenda was making sure that they had the highest Snapchat score. And his was definitely the highest that I've seen as a young teenage girl. I was impressed. I remember him adding me on Snapchat one day, and I thought that there's nothing wrong with adding him back. Grace did the same, you know? All the kids have him added on Snapchat. Nothing wrong with just being friends. So there's no problem with this. Right? Yeah, it most certainly wasn't. I remember my classes going well for the first few months. One day I had a smooth day at class, and I was walking out of class with Grace. She was on her phone. I asked her what she was doing, and she said that she was playing a game with Jake on Snapchat. And then as she was talking to me, she stopped. She was talking to me, but she was looking at her phone. And then she just stared at it in confusion and fear. And it was like time stopped in that moment. And then I started to tense up. She received a snap from Jake, so she opened it. Stared at it for a little bit with a scared look on her face, and then she started laughing a little, like nervous laughter. Me being a little confused, I sort of laughed along with her, because, I didn't want to keep her hanging. And then she showed me the snap that Jake had sent her. I felt the tension kind of lift, and then I looked at her phone, and it immediately all came back. Jake had sent Grace a snap, and he was requesting to see a picture of her feet and a picture of her stomach. I remember her and I kind of trying to brush off everything. We were kind of laughing a little about the whole thing afterwards, but the tension was there. We didn't know what to do. because how are young teenagers supposed to respond to that? Why is that even, like, I just have no freaking words. I remember her and I trying to change the subject afterwards. Her and I were talking for a few minutes. I don't remember what specifically. And then I saw my dad waiting for me at the front. He was in his truck. I had no idea how long he was waiting there for, but keep in mind, this is important. So I said goodbye to Grace. I hopped in my dad's car, his truck, and we left. That was the last time I saw Grace. I never saw her at another class. I never saw her again. And then, coincidentally, I started noticing that Jake wasn't showing up to our classes, not as often as before. Unfortunately, this is where the story starts to get blurry, but I remember after a little bit, my dad for some reason was slowly pulling me away from gymnastics. I never knew why, and I never ended up going back there a few days after Grace left. Honestly, I wasn't really upset that I left, honestly. It really wasn't the same after Grace left. I found it harder to make friends. I was lonely. And like how kids are with most things, the motivation, it just started to go away after a while, which is fine. So I just stopped going, and I wasn't upset about it. Unfortunately, though, I had never added Grace on any of my socials. The only one that I had was her Snapchat, but a few days after this whole day, it was gone. It was just gone. And I had no way to reach her. Years and years passed. I had completely forgotten about this incident, and it was buried. It was buried in the back of my mind, and I am still kind of surprised that I kept that memory, all the way in the farthest, deepest depths of my mind, and how I'm surprised at myself that it was suppressed back there for so long. But then, in June of 2018, I get a DM on Instagram, and I open it. Hey, do you remember me? We were in gymnastics together. I immediately knew who this was. Oh my gosh, Grace, right? I'm so sorry. It's been so long. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, it's Grace. You remember me? But that's when I realized, wait a second. Hey, so last time we hung out, if you don't mind me asking, didn't you tell me that Jake, our gym teacher, did some weird things? Yeah, when he asked me for a photo of my stomach. He also asked me for a picture of my feet. In that moment, the memories came flooding back from the last day we saw each other. But then she told me, I remember your dad told my mother. Wait, what? I was confused. I never told him anything. What do you mean? You don't remember? So apparently, I had no idea, but apparently, my dad overheard our entire conversation, and my dad got so mad and concerned, for the right reasons, that he told Grace's parents immediately. What an insane superpower! I'm convinced that there are some powers that you inherit when you become a parent, and my dad must have obtained some supersonic hyper hearing abilities, because Grace and I weren't standing a few feet away from where his truck was. We were a good distance away. I swear I did not tell him anything, and I swear we weren't even talking that loud from what I remember. But I didn't even know that he knew. He didn't tell me that he knew what I knew and that Grace knew. So basically, he told her parents, and then her parents go to the gymnasium and they tell them what's going on. That, someone who was well over a young teenage girl's age was asking for a picture of a young girl's stomach and a picture of her feet. You would think, especially with an establishment that teaches the younger demographic, that some serious precautions and measures should have been established from the get-go, right? Yeah, what about a few days suspension? Yeah, I'm not joking. Grace told me that Jake only got a few-day suspension. Her mom had to pull her out of gymnastics because he was still allowed to teach. Her parents made her remove everything from her phone. There was just no more data on her phone. All her socials were gone, including her Snapchat. And there was just no evidence, just nothing. It was just gone. I don't think there wouldn't have been anything that we could have done. I remember I tried to lighten the mood a little bit by saying, "Oh, I'm glad we don't have to see his dumb, stupid face again." But that was when she told me, "Oh, no, he's still hanging out in that area." And she saw him while she was hanging out in that area with a friend. And that was the last thing that I was told about Jake. It's been a few years since I spoke with Grace that day. I have no idea how she's doing now or where Jake is, if he's even alive. But it's almost been 10 years since this incident. It feels like I can't really speak on behalf of Grace because I only just witnessed what he said to her. I was just there. Only one message out of many, probably. But hey, if you ask me, honestly, he should have gotten a harsher punishment. Jail time, if I'm being honest. But I'd like to think about the positives here. I'm thankful that Grace was able to reach out to me a few years later. That was how I got her socials back, and that was how I was able to talk to her. I'm thankful that Grace and I never heard from him again. And believe me, I am super thankful that my dad stepped in at the time that he did and told Grace's parents. So thanks, Dad. You and your supersonic hearing ass. Hey y'all, so I meant to actually put this in the script as I was talking about the video, but I just forgot as I was in the process of, sketching out the drawings and stuff like that. Just letting you guys know, if you come across a situation like this, or if you know somebody who is going through something like this, or if you've experienced this before, please talk to somebody. You are not an inconvenience. You won't be bothering anybody. You won't be considered stupid. You won't be considered that you're doing it for attention. It's just, if you don't take the right steps in some situations, it could end up extremely bad. Thank goodness that Grace and I, that we were at the age that we were. Although we were a little clueless about the intensity of the situation, but it makes me wonder about kids that are younger than us. But just, please, just stay safe. Please. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's 11:44. 22nd of September. I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. But yeah, actually, I meant to put this in the script, so I'll let end card Nikki or pass Nikki take over, and I'm gonna go to bed. Bye. Hi everyone, thank you so much for staying until the end. I hope that this video was somewhat informative to you, or at least somebody out there, that hopefully you or someone out there can learn from this, to just know that if you or anyone else have gone through something similar, or if you are the type of person who wishes to go back to a certain time to change things, and who just wishes that they could have done better, that you should be better than that, just know that it's completely normal to feel that way. But just know that, in my opinion, if you keep on thinking about the what ifs, or the times where you wish you could have done something better, or you could have done this or that, or I wish I could have done this, what if I just said this? What if I said that? Unfortunately, what's done is done. The past is the past. We can't change it. But you know what we can change? We can change what's going on in the present. We can change what's going on right now. Instead of focusing on the what ifs, try to use that fuel to be someone who your past self can be proud of. So yeah, I hope that this video was somewhat informative. If you've stayed for this long, hi. Thank you so much for staying. Of course, if you would like to see more, feel free to like and subscribe to see more. But other than that, I think that was everything. I hope you all are having a good day so far, or evening. Did you eat something? Did you have breakfast? Did you have lunch? Did you have dinner? Did you have something to eat? Did you drink water today? Something tells me you haven't. I don't know. But anyways, as always, stay hydrated, stay safe, and of course, stay tuned, you guys. Bye!